So there's this thing. If you go on Reddit and you search TardTales, you will get exactly that. You will get tales of the encounter of tards. And so I'm going to tell a tale of tards for you guys in this video because I have a couple tard tales, to be honest. So I'm gonna set the scene, and then I'm just gonna I don't know why I'm telling you. It's a story. Listen to it. It's good. So in my freshman and sophomore year at my high school, you had to take two gym classes, but the class was called Wellness 1 and 2. The first one being freshman year, the second one being sophomore year, and you had to. It wasn't just like gym or PE; it was wellness. Probably because it wasn't physical education or gym. We just kind of did nothing. But the point being, you had to take these two classes. And now, when you have to take these two classes, you get lumped into a group of people of undesirables because everybody that goes into the school has to come out the other end having these classes. So you have to get this undesirable group of people. So in our gym class, the whole thing that they did was integrate the tards into our class. So it's freshman year, and then we would sit in assigned seats. So I'm sitting, but they also put one seat between each person. So I'm sitting one seat away from a stranger, basically, who we all came to become sort of friendly through this one common class that brought us all together and made fun of a lot of people in the process. And so there were there were four gym teachers per class. Like you had your first class of the day, your second class of the day, third class of the day, and your fourth class of the day. And that's what most people took. Most people did 4 classes a day, and then they swapped those 4 classes out at per semester. But so for one semester, we all were lumped into this big group, and most of the time in wellness, we spent sitting in like the bleachers of this dome. Our basketball court was actually really nice, and it was like a big dome, like quite literally a dome. Like it was like a dome that you would see on TV. And the thing about like the actual court, and it was they had the basketball court in the middle, and then it was actually inside of a larger circle, which was all had that basketball wooden floor, and but instead of just starting the bleachers right there was like I want to say like a 15-foot wall, and then the bleachers would start around it. So if you sat on the bleachers, you can look down onto everything that's going on inside of the Coliseum. I'm just going to call it the Coliseum because I think it's better for the story. But anyway, so at most of these gym classes, they would integrate the tards, and the 4 gym coaches who are all one phone call away from being pedophiles. I swear every single one of them are pedophiles, and everybody knows it. And it's so stereotypical, but it's so true. They are all one phone call away from being pedophiles, I swear. And so they were actually quite terrible people. Believe it or not, pedophiles are not, desired people in communities. But so they were actually like kind of terrible people, and they would take the integrated tard class, and they would make them fight each other. And they had a microphone and like a big speaker system that it was hooked up to, because like I said, it was a really big dome that they had to get all the kids' attentions, and they had to be able to be heard throughout the entire dome. So the whole thing about it was they would get on this mic, and they would like go like let's get ready to rumble style, like wrestling, like things like that. Like they would be like, we're gonna call. The first kid was named Cody, and the second kid was named Sean. And I actually have a really funny story that I'm going to tell later about Cody, but not in this commentary. So Sean and Cody would fight. Cody was 21 when he left high school, and Sean is still there, and I don't know how old he is, but he's getting fat. And so at this point in time, they would always fight in gym class. Whenever a fight between them would break out, the 2 coaches would like run to the microphone. Like these 2 coaches in particular would run to the microphone and just instigate a fight between the 2. And the one that would always start it would be Cody, because the gym teachers would favor him, and they would allow him to get away with anything, and they would just let him beat up Sean, and they would cheer for it on the microphone system. And so one day, Cody and Sean go into it like usual, and the gym teacher, who happened to be my gym teacher, runs over to the microphone, gets on the microphone, and he's like, "Sean, are you going to let him take that? You're going to let him beat your pansy fat ass?" And Sean just goes, "The only thing that I can describe as what a monkey would do when he realizes that you stole all of his bananas." He stopped dead in his tracks, dropped like this dodgeball he was playing with, turned around, gave him like this squinty, mean, open-eyed look, and he just went and just charged from that point on, head first at Cody, and just ran his head down and brought him to the ground. This kind of tackle would be illegal in the NFL. Like, this would be, there would be flags all over the place if this was in the NFL. It was like a hard hit, and the entire time this coach is just on the microphone just laughing hysterically, like belly laughing, like holding his belly, like leaning over laughing, as everybody in the stands are. It is at this point Sean can only flip to the switch as to what can be described as retard strength mode, and he just started taking off his shoes and like putting his hands inside of his own shoes and just smacking Cody on both sides of the ear, and it was just going at him. And so at which point Cody eventually pushed him off, because this guy's like 21 years old, like he's like a 21-year-old tard, and so he pushed him off of him. And at which point we realized that his retard strength was on. And Cody's thing was he would like put his head down and put like his fingers on top of his forehead and then like look like a bull and like kick his feet back like a bull would, and he would charge at you and tackle you, and he would just kind of start punching you in like the torso. And so he would do this to Sean, and now they're both just going at it, just driving their heads together and pushing each other and hitting each other. And then all of a sudden it stops. Sean backs up, and they're both covered in drool. And all of a sudden Sean takes off his sweatpants, not like the comfortable sweatpants, but like that type of material that's like that makes noise when you walk, if you know what I'm talking about, those kind of sweatpants, like those warm-up pants. And he just kind of like rolled into a ball and shit himself, and there was just liquid poo coming out of his just coming out and just appearing. Like all of a sudden you'd see like this brown shadow thing on like this underwear, on the backside of his underwear. And at which point the teachers that were laughing hysterically and on the microphone instigating this entire fight would run, and they actually called the Tard Wranglers, and the Tard Wranglers would come take him back to Tard HQ. And eventually the janitor would come and clean up the shit-stained floor. But the gym teachers that I had were actually pretty terrible. And one time I actually had to go down into Tard HQ, and we're really mean to our tards at our school. We integrate them, but we don't integrate them at the same time. Like, they get there after everybody else, and they leave before everybody else leaves. Like, I think they get here an hour after all the normal students come, and they leave an hour before the normal students leave. So, and they're out of sight basically. And they're only allowed to go to the bathroom like during classes, so that no one else sees them. And the places that we keep their classroom are in the basement of the far corner of the school that no one goes into. Like, we have like a theater. Like, I go to a pretty nice school, so like we have like a lot of things that a lot of other schools didn't have. And so like they had like a theater, and it was actually like a really nice like theater, and it was like really big. And it was actually underneath like the stage, not like where like people play like instruments underneath the stage, but like in like the basement of it. And if you went down there, it was almost nice. Like, it was really badly lit, and it kind of looked like a normal classroom filled with ugly ass kids. But yeah, but like the Tard Wranglers were not to be found inside of this classroom that I went into in Tard HQ. They were just not there, and all the tards like started trying to it was creepy. Like, they all like got out of their desk and like started like walking up towards me to try to talk to me, but like they wouldn't talk normally. They'd be like, and and I swear one of them was wearing a helmet. I swear one of them had a helmet on the back of the classroom. I promise. And we actually are pretty unfair to our tards, but that's my story. Thank you guys for watching, and leave a comment.